last night, watching the game, I told you, I'm like, you get pumped up to watch a good Phillies game. You get the ace on the mound, and then we're down 7-0. So I see the legendary Billy Werndl on Twitter. He's hot. And we start texting one another, and I said, you know what? I got to get him on. So a late addition to the show. Let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome in legendary radio personality,
Hall of
Famer, Billy Werndl. Good morning, Billy.
Billy Schweim, have a bottle of wine and Big Mike. What's happening, boy?
Hey, Billy, I could have just, I heard your voice ringing in my ear. I'm watching the game, you're watching the game, like all of us were, and I could just hear you, with your unique tone of voice, ripping what's going on out there. Billy, they look anemic. This team it looks like there's no leadership on this team. The Phillies are playing horrible baseball.
Well, they're in last place with the Washington Nationals, who have a JV squad in Major League Baseball. The one thing that bothers me about this whole ball club, their defense is horrible. Their starting pitching is subpar. The bullpen will be blown out by July. And when you have defensive liabilities like Schwarber and Castellanos in your corner outfield position, you can have one guy. I mean, Greg Luzinski wasn't a Gold Glove left fielder, but he did an adequate job, and he was a good athlete. Schwarber is not a very good athlete. That's the big problem with Schwarber right now. And Castellanos is not a right fielder. He's a left fielder. So they have to buy their time because Harper won't be back probably in the field until August, if then. They have a lot of issues. This club's got a lot of issues. Runners in scoring position, poor base running. It's a myriad of things. And you can't blame the manager. These guys have got to be held accountable. I mean, they're not making $11.99 an hour. These guys are all making big, big money. And the outfield, they have more butchers in the outfield than Decent Watson has.
Billy,
don't hold back, Bill.
But you can't blame Dombrowski. I mean, on paper, you look on
What
paper.
do you mean you can't blame Dombrowski? What do you mean, Billy Schweim?
But Billy, on paper, this team, you look on paper, this team's one of the best teams in baseball.
Paper, Billy, you can put paper in the trash can, all right? That's what you can do with paper, all right? And throw it out in the trash on Thursday. I mean, Dombrowski, everybody's lauding him as a great, great GM. He spends a lot of money. The farm system's not producing. He's been there for a couple of years. You'd think we'd have a couple of players coming up that can play baseball. The pitching, we don't have a fifth starter. You'd probably go to the beach in Atlantic City and find a fifth starter.
We're talking with legendary sports broadcaster Billy Werndl. Of course, Billy's never at a loss for words. Billy, I mean, first of all, Dombrowski's only been there. He's been there, 2.5 years, technically, right? So
yeah, You should be able to produce a player or two, don't you think? In 2.5 years.
I mean, they would have had Andrew Painter, but he's hurt.
Yeah, but you can't depend on one guy, Billy. Come on. I mean, you got to depend on more than one guy. The Dodgers lose pitch, they dial 911. There's another pitcher up. Other franchises do it. I mean, they spend money. But, it's unbelievable. And I'll tell you another thing. It really bothers me, Cale Cotham, career minor league pitcher, all right? I'm not impressed with the way he's dealing with these pitchers. And the other thing is the analytics. That building that they spent $14 million, they ought to blow that damn thing up because analytics has ruined the game of baseball. Yeah. The Phillies have bought into it, hook, line, and sinker, and we're seeing the results right now. The strikeout is not looked at as a bad thing. It's okay to strike out 200 times in a year. Let me give you a couple of stats, my friend. How many times do you think Babe Ruth struck out 100 times in a season?
How many times did he do it? Never.
Yeah, how many times?
Never.
How about Ted Williams?
Never.
Right. This strikeout thing drives me crazy. When you have 11, 12 strikeout, you're not putting the ball in play. You're not putting pressure on the infielders and outfielders. You have to put the ball in play, not swing for the fences. The two-strike approach is horrific. I mean, when you have two strikes, you got to shorten your swing and go with a pitch. These guys are swinging for their heels.
Well, they had to change. Look, they had to change the game, the rules of the game. You can't shift because players couldn't learn how to go the other way and hit the ball to where the players aren't. So they had to change the rules.
They're taught that. They're taught that, just like pitching. Here's pitching, Billy Schweim and Mike. They talk about pitching. When you were a pitcher back in the day, people say I'm from prehistoric time. The dinosaurs roared the earth when I was born. The whole deal. All right? I'm looking at pitchers. They don't develop pitchers. Here's the philosophy. Throw as hard as you can for as long as you can. That is a lot of bull. Right. Absolute bull. You have to develop a pitching theory, a pitching concept. You got to learn how to work the ball in and out, up and down. That is a mark of a pitcher. You know, the great pitchers, I mean, you look at the great pitchers, Warren Marichal, Sandy Koufax, they were pitchers. And I hate when they go to the bullpen. Oh, he threw 100 pitches. His arm must be tired. It's going to fall off. Or, you know, our analytics said that if he throws over 100 pitches, he's not going to be effective the last time. You saw what happened in the World Series with Tampa Bay and the Dodgers a few years ago. They took Snell out of the game. He was going through the Dodger lineup incredibly. Yeah. They couldn't even get the bat on the ball. What happened? They took him out, and the Dodgers won the game.
I remember that.
Give me a break with these analytics. Give me a break.
So, Billy, it's Michael.
In the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, Mike.
So, quick question. Last year, I was like the voice of reason, and I said, guys, everybody relax at this time of year. In my mind, like spring season, spring training is like
you're not going to win it. You're not going to win it there, but
yeah, for me, the season starts like in June. By July, you know what you have, kind of thing. This year, I literally something's just not right with this team where I don't have that same feeling. Where last month I was having that feeling. Now I'm starting to think something's definitely wrong with this team. But we got the players, we got the coach, we got everything that we want. We just can't figure out what. When does the season get to you? Will you really start? Are you worrying now, or are you still thinking we have a chance?
I'm absolutely worried. I took 2 Advils. I took a pitch to right last night.
All right, because there's other teams in this league that we never thought that we had to worry about, but now all of a sudden, you know, forget about the Braves and the Mets. You know, now you got the Pittsburgh Pirates playing out of their minds. They're in the running.
How about the Marlins? The Marlins got a good young team.
The Marlins are ahead. Right. Arizona. I mean, there's other teams that we're like right now. We have 11 teams that are ahead of us for the playoffs, and we went into it saying no matter what our season's like, we know we're going to get one of the 6 with the wild card. I can't guarantee that no more.
That's another thing that has cheapened sports beyond cheapened sports. This wild card picture in baseball. I say the 2 best teams in the National League, the 2 best teams in the American League. And I hate interleague play. I hate it. I hate the DH, the whole deal. But that's the way. But football is the same way. Hockey, basketball. I hate having an AC going to the championship in the NBA. AC! Come on.
With 7 undrafted players.
7 undrafted players. You just have to get hot at a certain time. Yeah. We have cheapened the postseason beyond cheap, but the owners are all about money. Let's have everybody in the postseason. Yeah. That'll make it even better.
Everybody's a winner.
Everybody's a winner. Everybody gets a trophy, Billy. We're talking with legendary sportscaster, radio sportscaster, Billy Werndl. He wrote a book called No Curveballs, My Greatest Sports Stories Never Told. And I know you got a plethora of sports stories, Billy, but let's turn our attention to the Philadelphia 76ers. They just hired Nick Nurse. What do you think, Billy?
Well, he's got to get through to Embiid, and I hate the rumors that they're going to bring James Harden back.
Oh.
What was this, a retirement home?
Oh,
I mean, come on, give me a break.
I hope you're wrong, Bill. I'm praying you're wrong.
Doesn't have much left in the tank. And Embiid, I'm going to tell you something. If you look at Jalen Hurts, he's committed to being a better player every year. Does Joel Embiid have that same attitude? I want to be better and better every year. He misses 14, 15 games a year. He misses a couple of playoff games. I had the opportunity to see Wilt Chamberlain play. Wilt Chamberlain played 47 and a half minutes every night, and they didn't have the luxury travel, the whole deal. And B, he's flopping on the floor. I have real questions about if he'll ever win a championship. You see that kid from Denver, Dockett. He is a hell of a player. He understands the game. When they get double teamed, he doesn't put the damn ball on the floor.
Yeah.
He gets rid of it. I mean, Embiid's trying to be, Magic Johnson out there. This team has a long way to go. And I don't think Nick Nurse, Alex Hannum, Red Auerbach could have put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
So, Billy, are you a hardened believer to bring him back, or would you like to see him walk out the door?
I would love to see him walk out the door. See you later.
Yeah.
I'll even take him to the airport.
Yeah, that's how I
Hey,
feel.
Billy, what about Joel Embiid? I mean, you just said you don't think he's ever good enough to win a championship. So if that's the case, why don't you move him out too and restart the process?
Well, that's really. Let me ask you this, gentlemen.
I'm not a process guy, though, Billy. Either.
Let me ask you this question right now. Sam Hinkie ruined this franchise.
No doubt.
For 4 years, it was a complete disaster. Am I right?
Yeah, I agree.
Who do they hire? They bring in Daryl Morey, who Sam Hinkie was a disciple of. I blame Josh Harris for all these missteps. He's in too many businesses. He owns the Devils. He owns the Washington Commanders. He owns the Sixers. He's not committed to winning basketball games. He's into making as much money as he can.
Yeah, he said the Sixers are his number one priority.
Oh, give me a break. He'll say that in Washington about the Commanders, and he'll say that in Jersey. Come on. You're not buying that, are you?
No. I'm just trying to push your buttons, Billy.
Well, yeah, I should push one of your buttons. You're looking for Mel Kiper. My cousin Jerry Werndl said, you're looking for Mel Kiper's number. Jerry, does he realize that I started, along with Tom Hepler and Jim Sabo, our lads guys in the NFL draft? If you're going to talk draft, why don't you get me on the air? And then, you threw me to the curb.
Nah, Billy, I didn't do that.
Dead fish.
Billy, we always love having you on. You keep it real, and we'll have you on for
Keep it real.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you keep it real.
Let me tell you something. If the Phillies apply today, they could get federal funds.
All right, Billy. Listen, man, you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Talk to you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
There he is, Billy Werndl on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline.